All right. Amateur hour tonight, folks. Sorry about this. the day the day runs long. There are many interruptions, and as you guys know, making sure taking care of family is first or comes before this stream. Welcome, folks, as you file in. I'll go ahead and do my introductions, and usually I have trouble getting viewers when I don't do my preview setup. We'll see how it goes. Welcome to the show. My name is Stuart Davis, a flawed man of God, a humble parishioner at a church just outside of Richmond, Virginia. Not a pastor, not a biblical scholar, haven't been to seminary. Not trying to get you to join my church or donate to any special cause. What I'm trying to do is talk about God, talk about Jesus, talk about the Holy Spirit, talk about Christianity, talk about the Bible, and talk about a wide variety of issues, topics, and current events, and give you my perspective on them. One that I think is reflective of your average Christian guy. I've been a Christian all my life, 40 years, non denominational Protestant. Don't subscribe to any particular doctrine or denomination. I'm just in the word daily, trying to do it better each and every day. Sometimes I'll get it right, many times I'll get it wrong, but no matter what, if I'm on here, if I'm on here streaming and you're listening to me, you're going to hear my honest takes on whatever it is we're discussing. So, if you are somebody who is new to Christianity, or maybe you are not quite there yet, and you're just looking for answers, you're just looking to find out what the faith is all about, who is Jesus, and what does it mean to follow him, welcome to the show. Glad to have you here. Hopefully, a if you're looking for a perspective of somebody who is not a professional, if it's this is not my career field, I am not a priest or a preacher up at the pulpit talking to you as somebody who has been trained, classically trained to do so. You'd want to hear things from somebody. Maybe you want a another user review. Maybe you want to hear uh, from somebody who's going to be sitting next to you in the pew. The average guy, right? What have I learned over 40 years using this product that is the faith in the Lord? Maybe then you'll get the answers that you're looking for. I hope that you can. Hope that you can, and maybe this very amateur, very layperson approach will help springboard you in to a path to salvation. And that would be the ultimate goal of what started this show in the first places. Um, if you are already a Christian and you just enjoy Christian topics and discussions, welcome as well. I think you'll like it here if you are interested in a very comfortable, relaxed setting. Um, we run this very similar to a Wednesday night study group uh, or a Sunday school. Your comments are welcome, no matter where you land, whether you are just learning, you've never really you've never really cracked open a Bible, you've never really gone to church. You don't know what this is all about. Whether you're there or you are much more mature in your faith than I am. It's not the most difficult thing to be in the world. But no matter where you land on that, I encourage you, join the chat. Join the chat. Give us whatever we're talking about. Give us your impressions. Give us your feedback. Give us your experience. Give us what you think. Right? We're a small enough community that if you chat and put anything in the chat, I will read and respond to it. Be a person that makes this show better. I'm just the mouthpiece, right? I'm just the person who decides to turn the camera on and embarrass myself night in and night out. You too, you too can put your thoughts out there on the internet for everybody to see and hear. But no, very welcome. for you to do so. We have a great group of folks who tune in and night out, and I'd love for you to join them because, like I said, you by being part of that chat make this show better. And that's it. Now we'll head into the show proper. What you said, this is going to be a short stream, probably be a short stream. Um, we're not getting we're not going to be getting into any scriptural reading tonight. I just didn't have any time to set everything up, but I didn't want to leave anybody hanging either. So I figured let's review where we've been and talk about where we're going as we read through the Bible, two chapters it seems right now at a time. So we just finished up Job. And Job, as advertised, powerful book. Hard to get through reading kind of the way we did it because it is when you read through the whole thing and you're only taking it a couple chapters at a time, it is a bit repetitive. And it can get a little monotonous because we do spend several chapters going back and forth between Job and his friends, talking about why they think he's horrible and why he thinks he isn't. Welcome, Dresden. Welcome, Texan Italian. Glad to see y'all here tonight. What a preacher I know, and I said this before, told me was, the important parts of Job is the first 5 chapters and the last 5 chapters, because it really involves God talking, especially the first chapter. It starts off with God and Job and how great he is, and God, and you don't want to say how proud. I don't know if you can assign. Can you assign proud as a description, as a feeling that God has? Can he? I would say he's pleased with Job. He likes what Job's doing. And look, as advertised in the Bible, who wouldn't be, right? And what Job ends up representing is the paragon of a person dealing with loss when they don't feel like they did anything to deserve it. And it happens. People have things happen to them that oftentimes not really have any effect on them. The best example, we were talking about it last night, kids with cancer, sick kids getting hurt from somebody else's actions. Kid didn't do anything to bring on illness to themselves, but it happens. And you can call yourself blameless, and you can reach out to you can cry out to God, you can be angry with him, you can say that you demand justice, or you can say maybe I did something to deserve it. Maybe this is punishment for something. But what we ultimately get from God, that I think, and I think that that article we read kind of, what's going on, Jab? I hadn't seen you in a while. You're doing all right. What we ultimately learn, I think, from God is that things are going to happen to you. Some of it might be something you deserve, some of it might be punishment, and some of it might not be. But you can't come to me, or you shouldn't come to me, demanding justice from me from what I've done when you have no idea how all the things work. This whole universe, this whole existence, this whole physical reality that we live in, I created it. I know how it works. I know all the secrets because I made them, right? You don't. I have created this existence, this reality that is beyond your comprehension. If you think about how complex the world around you is, it shouldn't take you very long to really understand um, Stu creating reality. No, I'm talking about God's perspective. Everybody's popping up. Um, what was I going to say? The surgery, as I understand it, Mr. Felty, was successful. Was successful. Now, ultimate, like I said, this involves cancer, so there's a lot of wait and see on that, Matt. But initial reports are positive. God be praised. And it was great seeing everybody praying for him last night. And hopefully, like I said, hopefully that leaves a lasting impact on him. That people not only care enough about him, but that prayers carry weight. No, I didn't put a preview up tonight because much was going on. I'll get into that in a bit. Um, God created this whole thing. He understands what's going on. We don't. So it's not our place to question what happens to us when we don't know what the big picture is and where we fit in it, right? When we get into Jonah, I feel like there's kind of an example there. And not to get too much into that book because we haven't gotten to that part yet. But Jonah's going to be called to do something. And he doesn't understand why, and he doesn't think it's right. And while he's not really harmed, he might think he's inconvenienced by what he's asked to do. He really kind of complains about it. Jonah is a whiner to some degree. Um, but he's not personally afflicted, and the Satan isn't out there trying to destroy him. At least not as directly as what happens to Job. But he wants to question. He wants to question everything that God is doing. And he thinks that that whether he approves of it or not has some sort of bearing in the situation. Because he tries to do things his way. He tries to do what he wants. And God pretty overtly gets involved to tell him, no, you're going to do what you were told to do. Because God had a plan. And he wanted Jonah to get to be part of it, whether he liked it or not. What it was interesting, and I don't know if I saw this here, but Jesus ends up talking about it. I think that's kind of what Jesus with the dead when he says, "Let the dead bury their dead." But what I didn't see in here, and maybe I'm talking out of turn. What's happened has happened. You can learn from it. You can grow from it. You can let it beat you down. You can let it destroy you. But it's happened. It ain't you're not rewinding the tape. There is not an instant replay. You can't throw a challenge flag and have God come back and change things. So there's not a whole lot of good that demanding justice from God is going to do. Maybe Elihu kind of makes that point later, at one point. It's not our place, and that's a little bit cold. When really, what we should be getting out of Job is some sort of comfort. A lot of Job is trust the process. Trust the process. And again, I think that to some degree, Job's greatness serves a greater purpose, that his plight is allowed to be recorded and shared and deeply affects so many people of the faith and even some people not of the faith. Job goes through a great deal. He'll probably go through more than you or I combined will go through. And while he does need at the end he does need to be humbled by God, doesn't lose he doesn't not love God, but he doesn't trust the process. Look at how Job responds as an example for all of us to follow. When God corrects him, he immediately humbles himself. And Job's no fool, understands what God is trying to tell him. And maybe God explains it to him in a way that he knows Job will figure out. But humility, obedience, and he still had the love there. And in the end, he is given some recompense. It doesn't bring his family back, but he is allowed to enjoy, to 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 start anew and enjoy the rest of his days to some degree. Therefore I retract my words and hate myself, and I repent in dust and ashes. Good for Job. And you know what? We've been tough on Eliphaz and Zophar and Bildad for their behavior, but good on them to doing what God told them to do as well. God speaking from a whirlwind is a um, kind of a convincing way of getting your point across. But still, we need to remember that maybe there's times in our lives where we can jump to conclusions with other people's suffering. Have you ever had somebody who you were friends with, acquaintances with or whatever, and you hear that something happened to them, and you're like, I saw that coming. Maybe you're right, and maybe you're not. Make sure you know what you're talking about before you say that. And also remember, grace is a thing. Grace is a thing for you. It's a thing for me. It's a thing for our friends and family. It's a thing for people we don't know. And it's a thing for our enemies. So, sorry guys for and that's so drab when Job we should end Job on kind of a light note. We should end it on kind of a light note because Job does the right thing. Job does the right thing in the end. Job is rewarded in the end. Restored the fortunes of Job. Got things twofold. Good for him. Good for him. And we all got something. The world was enriched by what happened through loss. Think Job realized that? Don't know. So, sorry guys for being late and not putting up a preview for the show. I had soccer practice. We had our last soccer practice for the fall season for my son. We did parents versus kids scrimmage. Um, Oddly enough, we didn't destroy them like I thought we were. My son was in goal, and he did an awesome job. He had some of the best saves I've seen him have all season. Our team hustled more than I think they've ever. This is the hardest they've ever played. It's amazing what motivates kids. Um, and then my son moved out of goal, took a full-on shot to the face from an adult who kicked the ball right into his face. So he needed about 5 minutes to collect himself. He cried. He's 10, got slapped in the face. He's not growing up a fighter like his dad did. But so he doesn't know he doesn't know what it's like to get hit in the face. But he did take a very harsh shot full on, and again, was playing the ball really well. He just got it. We were playing, the entire team was on the field versus a ton of adults and some other family members. So it was just chaos on the field. We won 3-1. Look, not all my Mario Kart wins are clean, but I still win. Same thing with soccer. Um, so we did that. Then got to get home, make sure son's getting iced up and taking care of himself. I think his lip's going to be swollen. And then a couple of days ago, our living room TV gave out. So I went with my father-in-law up to Walmart, got a new television. He paid for it because he does the majority of the watching in that in that room, and had to get that set up. That takes a little while. Got to wait for it to update. After you connect it to the Wi-Fi, you got to sign into Roku. You got to sign into YouTube TV. You got to sign into Hulu. You got to sign into all the stuff. Nancy, I played football against people half my age Saturday. Thought they wanted to play for fun. No, they wanted to win. To be clear, we won. I just reminding. I am. I apparently, and I don't doubt it. I apparently look awkward playing any type of athletic sport. It's just the way I play, I guess. Um, but I'm at least athletic enough to play well. And soccer, I'm very good at soccer. I'm not good at church softball. I'm good at church softball in the fact that I've got the spirit for church softball, and that I'm not terrible at for church softball, but it is slow pitch softball. So um, that was never my bag, but I do enjoy playing it. Soccer, soccer's a whole different story. Soccer I take seriously. Um, Pickup game of football is the same way though. No, we won. To be clear, we won. Good. Compared injuries on Sunday. Yeah, you should have messaged me in Discord, Nath, because I wasn't feeling too hot Sunday. If you caught that update. Oh. So yeah, once I got finished setting up the television, it was like 8:32 or something like that. So I grabbed something. Haven't even had dinner yet. Wife gave me some baked potatoes, baked potato wedges, and stuff like that. That I've been snacking on right here as I was getting everything set up. So I didn't have enough time to do a preview. But I thank you guys for joining. Thank you guys for joining. So where do we go from here? So Job, if you didn't catch up with it, if you didn't catch up or catch on to it, hold on a second. Sorry. um Job, if you listen to Job as we're talking to it, it's kind of got a rhythm to it. It's kind of told in the form of poetry, right? It's got that kind of verse to it. Not verse like in the Bible, like you like maybe you're reading in Genesis. It's more like a verse. There's some poetry to it. Maybe seeing is like a play. I think that's why there are people out there who believe that Job is not a true story, but a metaphor, or a tale, an anecdote, or not an anecdote. It's a tale for people told to the Jewish people to learn a lesson. I don't subscribe to that. I think that I think that Job easily could have happened. I think you could. I think that especially back then. I think Job easily would have been very plausible, and it makes sense. But it is told different than what we've learned in the past. Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, Deuteronomy, the Pentateuch, Joshua, and Judges, and Ruth, and Ezra, and Nehemiah, and Esther. Those are kind of, there's narrative there, but it's more like an accounting, like somebody's giving an account. Same thing with First, Second Samuel, Kings, Chronicles, those ones as well, where we're talking about that's a little bit more historical, like like Chronicles. It's a chronicling of these kings in the kingdom. Um, excuse me. Mm. Job is Job's told differently. And I think that makes it well placed because we're getting ready to get into a book, and I'm going to bring it up here. See if I can give you guys a visual aid. That's the Old Testament. Somebody, I see some here. This is a little. This looks a little juvenile, but I think it does a good job illustrating it for everybody. There we go. Books of the Bible, Old Testament. Pentateuch covers the law. There's some history there. There's history there too. There's a lot of history. There's a lot of law. There's a lot of history there too. And then history flows into, you know, Joshua through Esther. Then poetry, and here we go. What is the first one? Job, then Psalms, Proverbs, Ecclesiastes, and Song of Solomon. Some of Song of Songs. Depends on translations or whatever. Then we're going to get into the major prophets. And after that, we'll get into minor prophets. And that will close out the Old Testament. Minor prophets is good. Major prophets is pretty big. Then we've got Gospels, church history, letters, and prophecy. Revelation. Letters, and prophecy. So we're going to be getting into Psalms. And just to preview a little bit about how Psalms is, we can go in a little bit about, we can take a look at the first chapter. I'm going to bring that up. Boom. The righteous and wicked contrasted. Yeah, okay. Title sounds the same, but listen to how it flows. Blessed, fortunate, prosperous, and favored by God is the man who does not walk in the counsel of the wicked, following their advice and example, nor stand in the path of sinners, nor sit down to rest in the seat of scoffers and ridiculers. But his delight is in the law of the Lord, and on his law he precepts and teachings. And on his law, his precepts and teachings, he habitually meditates day and night. I might not do Amplified Bible for this. Might go back to the NIV, just because I think it's gonna read better. Or what was that other one we were gonna do? RSV, Revised Standard Version. Yeah, this shrinks it down a little bit. Blessed is the man who walks not in the counsel of the wicked, nor stands in the way of sinners, nor sits in the seat of scoffers, but his delight is in the law of the Lord, and on his law he meditates day and night. He is like a tree. So he's like, is the man. There's metaphor, there's simile here. There's poetry here. There's real there's real beauty in what we're learning about. And so that'll be Psalm. And then Proverbs. Look at Proverbs. That men may know wisdom and instruction, understand words of insight, receive instruction in wise dealing, righteous justice and equity, that prudence may be given to the simple, knowledge and discretion to the youth. The wise man also may hear an increase in learning, and the man of understanding acquire skill. To understand a proverb and a figure, the words of the wise and their riddles. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge. Fools despise wisdom and instruction. Let's get more. It's a better place to get into. Where is the. Yeah. Better is a dry morsel with quiet than a house full of feasting with strife. Slave who deals wisely will rule over a son who acts shamefully and will share the inheritance as one of the brothers. See how that reads. Ecclesiastes. You guys might have heard this before. Vanity of vanities, says the preacher. Vanity of vanities. All is vanity. And it runs like poetry. Song of Solomon, very short. This gets a little risque. My beloved is mine, and I am his. He pastures his flock among the lilies until the day breathe and the shadows flee. Turn, my beloved, be like a gazelle or a young stag upon rugged mountains. Said it's going to be interesting going through those. And then after that, we get into Isaiah. So that's a look ahead. That's a look ahead on things. Oh. All right. Thank you guys for joining on short notice. Thanks for your words. Thanks for your prayers for Mr. Gavin. I know that he will continue to appreciate your continued prayers for him as he continues on his journey to recovery and conquering over cancer and living a childhood more aligned with what is expected of a child and less with the ordeals that he is having to go through right now. So, Nirnaeth, Matt Felty, Manuel Osorio, Jab, Texan Italian, Dresden. Matt, I know you're gone. Thank you guys again. Thank you guys for what you've done. Thank you, John. Blessings, brother. Yeah. Thank you, John. All you guys who show up in the chat night in and night out, or just now, whenever. Thanks for making the show better. Thanks for coming in here, sharing your thoughts. Just saying hi. Doesn't matter. Thanks for doing it. Anybody who is listening to it, not either unable or unwilling to join the chat, that's fine. Just glad that you're getting something out of this that keeps you coming back. To everybody catching us on replay, thank you for watching, and I hope to catch you live sometime. Don't forget, guys, to like and subscribe if you haven't already done so. Like and subscribe and share if you want this. If you want this show to improve its reach, the best way to do it is word of mouth. Introduce it to other people wherever you see it. Thank you. And we'll talk again tomorrow night, probably. Thank you. Good night, and God bless.